only ask questions when they're convenient for them. Sometimes people only want solutions for problems when they think that the solution will come out better for them. Sometimes the questions that people ask are very insincere. They want to use knowledge to badger or bash another person. But in reality, their affair and what they are upon is ghayatul maskana, and it is the highest level pitifulness that a person can imagine. If the husbands and the wives were to be sincere and trying to implement what they know from the religion as regards how we deal with one another and how we raise our children and how we take care of the responsibilities in the home and the responsibilities outside of the home, if they were to act upon what they already know of the religion, the vast majority, 95% of the questions that I asked and the problems that we have to hear about would be resolved before they ever had to be asked. And in the majority of situations, it's not that we don't know, it's that we don't care. It's not that we don't know what is right and wrong, but it's just like we seem like we don't care. So if a person was to be sincere as regards learning their religion and implementing their religion, fulfilling the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the right of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they would see the fruits of that in their character, in their statements and in their actions, and in their dealing with those that they come in contact with. And this is the next advice of Shaykh Muqbil rahimahullah ta'ala. He said, وَيَنْبَغِي لَهَا أَيْضًا أَن تَتَعَامَلْ مَعَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ مُعَامَلَةً طَيِّبَةً بَلْ وَمَعَ الْكَافِرِينَ. He said the second special quality of the Salafi woman is that it is befitting for her to deal with the Muslims in the most beautiful and correct fashion. And much rather, it is even imperative and mandatory upon her to deal with the non-Muslims in the best fashion. It is upon her to deal with the Muslims in the best fashion. How many complaints do we hear in the community from the older sisters who are put to test and tried with the younger sisters who grew up in a generation that wasn't taught to respect their elders? How many complaints do we hear in the community? How many complaints do we hear in the community of people that are brand new Muslims, or people that are brand new to trying to learn their religion, who are ignorant of their religion, that are from the awam, that are run away by the treatment of the people in the masjid, that are run away by the sisters in the masjid, because they are spoken down to. They are spoken to in a condescending fashion. A person is shooting and darting glares at a person from the other side of the masjid, like, what are they doing here? Why are they in the masjid of Ahl Sunnah? Why are they in the masjid of the Salafiyin, dressed like this, looking like this, and so on and so forth? Abu Darda, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said that by Allah we smile in the faces of some people. وَقُلُوبُنَا تَلْعَنُهُمْ. There are some people that are really evil, that they knew were very evil people. He said, by Allah, there are some people we smile in their faces, while in our hearts we are cursing them. If this is how they were with the munafiqun, with some of the worst of the people in their communities and in their masajid, that they knew were conspiring to destroy the community, but still they had diplomacy in how they dealt with them. Still they had wisdom in how they dealt with them. And how much more so is it the case for people that are brand new to Islam, people that are, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the companions, وَكَذَلِكَ كُنْتُم مِّن قَبْلُ فَمَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمْ. When the companions saw some people who gave them the salams while they were traveling on one occasion for war, they saw some people that were traveling and they passed by them in the road. They gave them the salams and they said, Lastum bi Muslimin. They said, you people aren't Muslims. You people aren't Muslims. Why are you giving us the salams? These people were brand new to Islam, and some of the Sahaba mistreated them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala atabahum. Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, He rebuked those companions who mistreated those people who were new to Islam by saying, وَكَذَلِكَ كُنْتُم مِّن قَبْلُ فَمَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمْ. That is just how you used to be. You used to be just like that. You used to dress like that. You used to look like that. You used to talk like that. You used to be brand new just like they were brand new. فَمَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمْ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave a tremendous favor to you. So as I said, it's not that we don't know what is right or wrong, what is correct treatment and dealings with others, but rather it just seems that some people are just going to do what they want to do. But the person who is upon the sunnah, the person who has some knowledge, the person who has some understanding, the more they have of knowledge, the more humble they will become. The more that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them from the dunya, the more humble they will become. The more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses them as regards their religion and as regards their finances and their situation, the more they will want the good for their brothers and their sisters. The more they will use what they have of resources, whether knowledge or wealth, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them, to try to build people, to try to raise people, and to try to win the hearts of people. And it could be as easy as some kind words. As the Arab, they used to say, there's an old statement that they say, the Arab, they used to say for thousands of years, for hundreds and hundreds of years, they used to say that the person لِأَنْ يَكُونْ وَجْهُكَ مُنْبَسِطًا وَكَلِمَتُكَ لَيِّنَةً تَكُنْ أَحَبَّ إِلَى النَّاسِ مِمَّنْ يُعْطِيهِمْ عَطَاءً. They said that you smile in the face of people and say kind words to them will make you more beloved to people, will make you more beloved to people than the one who was to give them from his money. And the person who gives them money, so that a person is kind and accommodating and inviting and welcoming as regards those that they see come into our communities, making them feel comfortable, making them feel loved. It's from the most important of khasa'is, the special qualities, or should be, of the Salafi community, whether from the brothers or from the sisters. And so dealing with the people in the best way, the Muslims and the non-Muslims, is the most important of affairs. He said, likewise, يجب عليها أن تلازم اللباس الإسلامي وأن تبتعد عن التشبه بأعداء الإسلام. He said, likewise, it is mandatory upon the woman, and it is from the special qualities of the Salafi woman, that she adheres to Islamic clothing, and that she distances herself far away from resembling the enemies of Islam, from the disbelievers. That the Salafi woman, she stands out in her clothing, and her clothing is satir, and it covers her completely, and it is loose, it is not translucent, and it is of a material that will cover what is behind it. It is not of a color that will bring attention to herself, and that is a color that is not commonly worn by the other Muslims in her area. She wears clothing that is concealing of her beauty. There's a tremendous book that was translated, originally written by Sheikh Muhammad al-Imam, called Ma'rikatul Hijab. Ma'rikatul Hijab, and the hijab wars, or the wars of the hijab, or however they translated that. Ma'rikatul Hijab, al-ula wa thaniya wa thalitha. The first hijab war, the second hijab war, and the third hijab war. And he mentioned how progressively in stages the Muslims have taken the hijab al-shar'i, and the Islamic attire of the woman, and made it a fashion symbol. And they shortened this, and they lengthened that, and they made certain areas tighter and certain areas looser. And they brought this in and they let that out. And so you see the sisters, as regards the hijab al-shar'i, and as regards the legislative hijab, doing things that they know are wrong, that they know are incorrect concerning their adornments. It's from the most astonishing of affairs that you see that there are sisters that when they're out and about in the streets, that they will lift up the niqab. If you're wearing the niqab because you think that, or you believe that it is mandatory, which is the position of the majority of the ulama, and even the scholars of today that believed that covering the face wasn't mandatory, they said it is mandatory if a person lives in a time of fitna, or in a location full of fitna. It's mandatory for her to cover her face and her hands. And what place is full of more fitna than these places? So you see a sister that will cover her face, not just in front of any of the Muslim men, but in front of her own sisters in the masjid. like she's on the run from the law, covering her face all the time. Nobody knows what she looks like she's hiding out. When she's walking down the street, her face is uncovered. She flips her niqab up. Min al-ajaib. Don't make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the least significant of those that are looking at you. Don't do what you do for the sake of the people. If you cover, believing it to be mandatory, and if you have that belief that it is a correct belief, and it is a position of the vast majority of the ulama of Ahl Sunnah, and you should do that at all times when you are around any people that you must cover in front of. We see that it is very common these days. I won't say that we see, because I don't really look at the sisters like that, but we know that it is common these days that the sisters will have their garments made in such a way that the fabric of their garment becomes tight around the posterior, around the backside, to the point that there are sisters that go and they'll take a garment to a seamstress and have the elastic that they have, like a waistband put on the waist, elastic put on the waist to draw in the garment around the waist and the backside of the woman. It is impermissible for a woman who is a seamstress to do that for anyone, or to make that garment for anyone. And it's impermissible for anyone to buy it or wear it. And so the woman, she needs to adhere to al-libas al-islami, and tabta'ida an tashabbuhi bi'ada'i al-islam. She must adhere to the Islamic dress code, and she must be far away from resembling the clothing of the enemies of Islam. He said, fourthly, وَنَنْصَحُهَا أَن تُحْسِنَ إِلَى زَوْجِهَا إِذَا أَرَادَتِ الْحَيَاةَ السَّعِيدَةَ. He said, and we advise her likewise that she treats her husband in the best way if she wants to have a happy life. Verily, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِذَا دَعَ رَجُلٌ امْرَأَتُهُ إِلَى فِرَاشِهِ فَأَبَتْ لَعَنَتْهَا الْمَلَائِكَةُ مُتَّفَقٌ عَلَيْهِ. He said that if a woman is called by her husband to his bed and she refuses, the angels will curse her in one narration حَتَّى تُصْبِحْ, until the morning. Meaning, if it happens in the night, that the angels will curse her in the morning. If you heard that a scholar in the ulama of the Sunnah, or a righteous person from the people of the Sunnah, that they said the la'na of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you, a person that you didn't know to be sinful, a person that you didn't know to be reckless in their dua, that they were angry with you to the extent that they said the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you, how in the world would that make you feel? Let alone not a malik, not an angel, the angels, al-malaika, the angels will send the la'na of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon the woman for refusing intimacy with her husband. And so this produces a lot of fitna in the community. And when the woman loses intimate desire for her husband, and we live in a society that is full of lewdness, and the fitna of the woman is from the most apparent of things in the society that we live in, to the point that they say that a Shaykh Muqbil, rahimahullah ta'ala, that the first advice that he gave when he landed in the United States of America for medical treatment in California, as soon as he got off the plane, they said the first advice that he gave to the brothers was that they need to be careful of the fitna of the woman. And it was reported that when he had to come back to America for medical treatment, it was reported by one of his daughters that he said that he would rather die than come back to America because of what he saw, the fitna of the woman. But your husband, sister, has to live in that reality every day. What do you think it's like for your husband when you refuse intimacy from your husband? Do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will bring the ladha, He will bring the pleasure of obedience into your heart, and the love will be restored. And know that that is from the shaitan, and from the meddling of the shaitan between the spouses, that they lose attraction for one another in such a way. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّ الْمَرْأَ إِذَا خَرَجَتْ مِنْ بَيْتِهَا أَسْتَشْرَفَهَا الشَّيْطَانِ. That when the woman leaves from her home, the shaitan goes on top of the woman to beautify the woman, to the point that the ulama, they say that even if a woman is unattractive, and there are a lot of really unattractive women out here walking in these streets with barely anything on, trying to bring attention to themselves. Even if the woman is unattractive, the shaitan will beautify that woman to whoever looks at her. This is the meaning of the hadith. Astashrafaha shaitan. Look at the meddling of the shaitan. And a woman is walking around. A woman is walking around hideous, an ugly woman with the shape of a box, walking around. And next thing you know, the brother, he's coming into the masjid talking about, you know, there's this woman, I've been giving her dawah, she's ready to take shahada. And you bring her into the community. Woman covered from head to toe with tattoos, gold teeth, and some trifling woman with no tarbiyah, no etiquette, no character, no substance about herself. The only thing he liked about her doesn't even exist. The shaitan beautified her to him. The ulama, they say at the same time, the shaitan comes in between the man and his wife. And even if she is attractive to him, the shaitan will play with his mind to make his wife unattractive to him. So the shaitan is beautifying ugly women to the brothers and making their wives that they were attracted to and have been married to for years unattracted to them. Look at the meddling of the shaitan.